He locked the door behind me. The sound echoed through the empty penthouse like a gunshot. I tried to steady my breathing, but my hands were shaking. You ran away from the Korean Mafia pregnant. Did you really think I wouldn't find you? His voice was calm. Too calm. I looked up at him. Park Ji-hoon, the man I'd loved, the man I'd feared, the man whose child I'd been hiding for 3 years. Please, I can explain. He stepped closer, his dark eyes burning into mine. Explain? A bitter laugh escaped his lips. You disappeared for 3 years. No calls, no messages. And now you show up in Seoul with my son. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. Do you have any idea what you've done to me? His voice dropped to a whisper, more dangerous than any shout. Do you know how many nights I spent looking for you? My throat tightened. I was protecting him. From me? He grabbed my chin, forcing me to look at him. I would burn this entire city to keep him safe. To keep you safe. Tears streamed down my face. You don't understand. Then make me understand, he said. Because right now, the only thing stopping me from locking you in this apartment forever is the fact that I still love you. My heart stopped. You? You still love me? He let go of my chin and turned away. I never stopped. 3 years ago, I was nobody. Just a blonde girl from a small town in America, about to marry a man I didn't love. My name is Emma Clark, 23 years old, broke and desperate. My family had arranged everything. The dress, the flowers, the groom, Richard Anderson. 42 years old, rich, controlling, and absolutely convinced he owned me. I met him at my father's company. He was an investor, a businessman, the kind of man my parents worshipped. He'll take care of you, Emma, my mother had said, adjusting my veil in the mirror. I stared at my reflection. The white dress felt like a cage. I don't love him, Mom. She sighed. Love comes later, sweetheart. Security comes first. Security. That's all they cared about. Not my happiness. Not my dreams. Just their debt and his money. I looked at myself one more time, and I made a decision. I wasn't going to do this. I grabbed my dress, hiked it up, and ran. I ran through the church halls, past the confused guests, past my screaming mother, past everything. I didn't stop until I reached the street. The cold air hit my face like freedom. But freedom doesn't last long when you have nowhere to go. I walked for hours. My feet hurt. My dress was dirty. I had no money, no phone, no plan. I just knew I couldn't go back. The sun was setting when I found myself in the city center. People stared at me. A girl in a wedding dress, mascara running down her face, walking alone. I must have looked insane. I sat down on a bench in a small park. The reality hit me then. I had nothing. No job. No savings. My family would never forgive me. Richard would make sure I was ruined. I put my head in my hands and cried. That's when I heard his voice. Are you lost? I looked up. A man stood in front of me, tall, dark hair, sharp jawline. He wore an expensive black coat, and his eyes were the darkest I'd ever seen. He was Korean, and he was the most beautiful man I'd ever seen in my life. I wiped my tears quickly. I'm fine. He tilted his head, studying me. You don't look fine. You look like you just ran away from your wedding. I laughed bitterly. Is it that obvious? He smiled. Small, almost amused. The dress gave it away. I looked down at the white fabric, now gray with dirt. Yeah, I guess it did. He sat down next to me. Did he deserve you? I blinked. What? Your groom. Did he deserve you? I thought about Richard, about his cold eyes and controlling hands. No, he didn't. The stranger nodded. Then you made the right choice. Something about the way he said it made me believe him. Who are you? I asked. He extended his hand. You can call me Mr. Park. I shook it. His hand was warm, strong. Emma. Nice to meet you, Emma. He stood up. Come with me. I frowned. What? You need somewhere to stay tonight, don't you? I hesitated. I don't even know you. He looked at me with those dark, unreadable eyes. You don't. But you're sitting on a bench in a wedding dress with nowhere to go. So you have two choices. Come with me and be safe. Or stay here and see what happens when it gets dark. I looked around. The park was emptying. The streetlights were flickering on. He was right. Okay, I said quietly. Okay. He took me to a building I'd only seen in movies. Glass, steel. A doorman who bowed when Mr. Park walked past. We rode the elevator in silence. It went up and up and up. When the doors opened, I gasped. The penthouse was massive. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the entire city. Modern furniture. Expensive art on the walls. This is where you live? He shrugged off his coat. Yes. I stepped inside slowly, feeling completely out of place. Why are you helping me? He poured 2 glasses of water and handed me one. Because you looked like you needed it. I took a sip. The cold water felt good against my dry throat. Thank you. You're welcome. He gestured to a hallway. There's a guest room down there. You can shower, change. I'll have some clothes brought up for you. I blinked. You'll have clothes brought up? He smiled slightly. I have people. Of course he did. Men like him always did. I'll pay you back, I said. Somehow. He waved a hand. Don't worry about it. But I do. I don't take charity. His eyes met mine. It's not charity, Emma. It's kindness. Something told me kindness wasn't a word people used often with him, but I didn't push it. I just nodded and went to the guest room. The shower was the best thing I'd felt in days. I stood under the hot water and let it wash away the makeup, the tears, the fear. When I came out, there were clothes on the bed, soft pajamas, a robe. Everything fit perfectly. I walked back to the living room. Mr. Park was sitting on the couch, a glass of whiskey in his hand. He looked up when I entered. Better? Much better. I sat down across from him. So, what do you do, Mr. Park? He took a sip of his drink. I run a business. What kind of business? Import and export. I nodded. That was vague, but I didn't press. And you? What do you do, Emma? I laughed. Nothing anymore. I was supposed to be a wife. That was my job. He frowned. That's not a job. That's a prison. Exactly. We sat in silence for a moment. Then he spoke again. Where will you go tomorrow? I don't know. I hadn't thought that far ahead. You don't have family you can stay with? I shook my head. Not anymore. Friends? I bit my lip. Not really. He set his glass down. Then stay here. I looked at him startled. What? Stay here, until you figure things out. I can't do that. Why not? Because I don't know you, and you don't know me. He leaned forward. I know enough. You're brave. You ran from something that scared you. That takes courage. I felt tears prick my eyes again. You don't understand. My family will come looking for me. Richard will come looking for me. Let them, he said simply. They won't find you here. How can you be so sure? He smiled. A dangerous smile. Trust me, Emma. No one finds anyone in my world unless I want them to. And for the first time since I ran, I felt safe. I stayed. One night turned into 2. 2 turned into a week. Mr. Park and I fell into a strange routine. He'd leave early in the morning for work. I'd spend the day reading, exploring the penthouse, trying to figure out my next move. At night, we'd talk. About everything, about nothing. He told me about Seoul, about growing up in Korea, about his family. But he never told me what he really did, and I never asked, because part of me didn't want to know. Part of me just wanted to stay in this bubble where I felt safe, where I felt seen. But bubbles always burst. It was a Friday night. We were sitting on the balcony, looking out at the city lights. "I've been thinking," I said. "About what?" "About getting a job, finding my own place." "You don't have to." "I know. But I can't stay here forever." "Why not?" I turned to look at him. "Because this isn't real, Mr. Park. This is just, I don't know." A pause. A break from reality. "But I can't hide forever." He was quiet for a long moment. "What if I don't want you to leave?" My breath caught. "What?" "What if I want you to stay?" I searched his face. "Why?" He reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. "Because for the first time in years, I don't feel alone." His hand lingered on my cheek. I should have pulled away. I should have been smart. But I wasn't. I leaned into his touch. "I don't even know your first name," I whispered. "Ji-hoon," he said softly. "My name is Park Ji-hoon." And then he kissed me. It was slow at first, gentle, like he was afraid I'd break. But then something shifted. The kiss deepened. I grabbed his shirt, pulling him closer. He lifted me onto his lap and I wrapped my arms around his neck. "We shouldn't be doing this," I breathed against his lips. "Probably not," he agreed. "But I don't care. Neither do I." He carried me inside, to his room. Not the guest room. His. And that night, everything changed. I gave myself to him completely, and he gave himself to me. When I woke up the next morning, I was wrapped in his arms. He was still asleep, his face peaceful in the early light. I traced the line of his jaw with my finger. "Who are you really, Park Ji-hoon?" He stirred. His eyes opened, dark and warm. "Good morning, beautiful." "Good morning." He kissed my forehead. "Sleep well?" "Better than I have in years." "Good." He pulled me closer. "Because I'm not letting you go." I laughed softly. "Ever?" "Ever." And I believed him. I shouldn't have. But I did. Everything fell apart on a Tuesday. I was in the living room when the elevator doors opened. 4 men in black suits walked out. They bowed when they saw me. "Ma'am," I frowned. "Can I help you? We're here to see the boss." "The boss?" Before I could ask more, Ji-hoon walked out of his office. His entire demeanor changed. Cold, commanding, different. "Report," he said in Korean. One of the men spoke quickly. I didn't understand the words, but I understood the tone. Business. Serious business. Ji-hoon's jaw tightened. "Handle it." "But sir, the Chinese syndicate." I said handle it. The men bowed again and left. I stared at him. What was that? He ran a hand through his hair. "Nothing you need to worry about." "Chinese syndicate?" "Ji-hoon, who are you?" He looked at me for a long moment. Then he sighed. "Sit down, Emma." "I don't want to sit down. I want you to tell me the truth." He walked over to the window, his back to me. "I told you, I run a business." "What kind of business, Ji-hoon? What kind of business has men calling you boss and talking about syndicates?" He turned around. "The kind you don't want to know about." "Try me." He studied my face. "I'm the head of an organization, Emma. An organization that controls imports, exports, and other operations in Seoul and beyond. Other operations." My voice was shaking. "You're in the Mafia." He didn't deny it. "Yes." I felt like the floor dropped out from under me. "You're a criminal. I prefer businessman. Don't." I stepped back. "Don't joke about this." "I'm not joking." He walked toward me. "Everything I told you is true, Emma. I just left out some details." "Some details?" I laughed bitterly. "You're a mafia boss. That's not a detail. I know this is a lot." "A lot? I've been living with you, sleeping with you." And you didn't think to mention that you're a criminal? He grabbed my arms gently. Listen to me. Yes, I run the Korean Mafia. Yes, what I do isn't legal, but I have never lied to you about who I am as a man. You lied by omission. Maybe, but I kept you safe, didn't I? I kept you hidden from your family, from Richard, from everyone. I shook my head, tears streaming down my face. I can't do this. I can't be with someone like you. Emma, please. No. I pulled away from him. I need to leave. You're not leaving. Yes, I am. He stepped in front of me. If you walk out that door, you're in danger. From who? From everyone. Do you think Richard just gave up? Do you think your family stopped looking? The only reason you've been safe is because of me. I don't care. He grabbed my face, forcing me to look at him. I love you. I froze. What? I love you, Emma. I have since the moment I saw you on that bench. And I will do whatever it takes to keep you safe. Even if you hate me for it. I don't hate you. Then stay. I can't. Why not? Because I'm pregnant. The words hung in the air like a bomb. Ji-hoon's hands dropped from my face. He stared at me, eyes wide. What? I'm pregnant, I whispered. I found out yesterday. I was going to tell you, but then... I gestured vaguely at everything. How long? 6 weeks. Maybe 7. He ran his hands through his hair, pacing. You're pregnant. With my child. Yes. He stopped pacing and looked at me. And you were going to leave? Weren't you going to tell me? I don't know. I'm scared, Ji-hoon. I'm terrified. Of what? Of you. Of this life. Of bringing a child into a world where their father is a mafia boss. He walked over to me slowly. Emma, listen to me very carefully. I will never let anything happen to you or our child. Do you understand? Never. But how can you promise that? Because I own this city, he said simply. And anyone who even thinks about touching you will disappear. That's not comforting. It should be. Because it's the truth. I sat down on the couch, my head in my hands. This is too much. I know. But we'll figure it out. Together. I looked up at him. What if I don't want this life? Then I'll leave it. I blinked. What? For you? I'll leave it all. The mafia, the business, everything. Will disappear. Start over somewhere new. You'd do that? He knelt in front of me, taking my hands in his. Emma Clark, I would burn down my entire empire for you. Just say the word. I searched his eyes. He meant it. Every word. And that's what scared me most. Because I believed him. And I was falling in love with him. And I didn't know if I was strong enough for this world. I need time, I whispered. He nodded. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. But I was. I just didn't tell him yet. I left 3 days later, in the middle of the night while he was sleeping. I packed a small bag, took enough money to survive, and I ran. Again. I left a note. Simple, short. I'm sorry. I can't do this. Please don't look for me. Protect our child from afar. I know you will. Goodbye, Ji-hoon. I cried the entire cab ride to the airport. I cried on the plane. I cried for weeks. But I didn't go back. I couldn't. I moved to a small town in Canada, changed my name, got a job at a coffee shop. And when my son was born, I named him James. James Ji-hoon Clark. Because even though I ran, I couldn't erase him completely. James had his father's eyes, dark, intense, beautiful. Every time I looked at my son, I saw Ji-hoon, and it broke my heart. But I told myself I made the right choice. I told myself James was safer this way. Away from the mafia, away from the danger, away from his father. I told myself that for 3 years. Until the day Ji-hoon found us. It was a normal Tuesday. I picked James up from daycare. We went to the park. He played on the swings while I watched. And then I felt it, that feeling of being watched. I turned around, and there he was, standing across the park in a black coat. Park Ji-hoon. Our eyes met. He started walking toward me. My heart pounded. I grabbed James's hand. "Come on, sweetie, we need to go." "But Mommy, I'm playing." "Now, James." The little boy pouted but followed me. I walked quickly toward my car, but Ji-hoon was faster. "Emma." I froze at the sound of my name. His voice, the same voice that used to whisper sweet things in the dark. I turned around slowly. James held onto my leg, looking up at the stranger. "Hi," I said weakly. Ji-hoon's eyes went straight to James. His expression shifted, softened. Something that looked like pain crossed his face. "He looks just like me," Ji-hoon whispered. I didn't respond. "How did you find me?" I never stopped looking. He finally tore his gaze away from James and looked at me. "Did you really think I would just let you go?" I had to protect him. From me? From everything. James tugged on my jacket. "Mommy, who is this?" I looked down at my son. My sweet, innocent son who didn't know his father was standing right in front of him. "This is..." I swallowed hard. "This is an old friend." Ji-hoon knelt down to James's level. "Hi, James." The little boy's eyes widened. "How do you know my name? Your mom told me. She talks about you all the time." James smiled. "Really? Really? You're very handsome. You look like your dad." James frowned. "I don't have a dad." Ji-hoon's jaw clenched. He looked up at me. "Can we talk? Please." I wanted to say no. I wanted to grab James and run again, but I couldn't run forever. "Okay," I said quietly. "Okay." We went to a coffee shop. James sat between us, eating a cookie and coloring on a napkin. Ji-hoon couldn't stop staring at him. 3 years, he finally said. 3 years, Emma. I'm sorry." "Sorry?" He laughed bitterly, keeping his voice low so James wouldn't hear. "You stole 3 years of my son's life from me. I was protecting him. By lying to him, by letting him think he doesn't have a father, it was better than the alternative." "What alternative? Growing up in danger?" Ji-hoon leaned forward. "I told you I would protect you. Both of you. And I meant it. I know you meant it. But meaning it and doing it are 2 different things." He sat back, running a hand through his hair. "Do you know what it was like? Waking up and finding you gone? I had my men search everywhere. Every city. Every country. I thought you were dead, Emma. I thought someone had taken you, killed you. I didn't sleep for months. Tears pricked my eyes. I didn't know what else to do. You could have trusted me. I did trust you. Then why did you leave?" "Because love isn't enough," I said, louder than I meant to. James looked up from his coloring. "Mommy." I forced a smile. "It's okay, sweetie. Keep coloring." The little boy went back to his drawing. Ji-hoon's voice was quiet, deadly quiet. "Love isn't enough?" "It's not. Not when your love comes with guns and enemies and a target on our backs." I left the Mafia. I stared at him. "What?" "I left it. 3 months after you disappeared. I walked away from everything." "You're lying." "I'm not." He pulled out his phone and showed me articles, news reports. Park Ji-hoon steps down from family business. Former Mafia head vanishes from underworld. Major power shift in Seoul's underground. I read through them, my hands shaking. "You really left. I told you I would. For you. I left everything for you. And I couldn't even find you. Why? Why would you do that?" He looked at me like I was insane. "Because I love you. Because you're the mother of my child. Because I would rather have nothing and have you than have everything and lose you." A tear rolled down my cheek. Ji-hoon. "I've spent 3 years looking for you, Emma. 3 years. And now that I've found you, I'm not letting you go again." "What does that mean?" It means we're going to figure this out. Together. But I don't. Come back to Seoul with me. No. Emma. No, Ji-hoon, I can't just uproot our lives. Our lives? He gestured to James. He doesn't even know I'm his father. And whose fault is that? Mine. He raised his voice slightly, then caught himself. Lowered it again. It's my fault. All of it. If I had told you the truth from the beginning, maybe you wouldn't have run. Maybe we'd be a family right now. We sat in silence. James kept coloring, oblivious to the storm around him. I have conditions, I finally said. Ji-hoon looked at me. Anything. You stay out of the Mafia. Already done. We tell James the truth. Together. Yes. And we take this slow. I'm not just jumping back into your life like nothing happened. He reached across the table and took my hand. Slow. I can do slow. As long as I get to be in his life. In both your lives. I looked down at our joined hands. At the man I'd loved and left. At the father my son deserved to know. Okay. Okay. A small smile crossed his face. The first real smile I'd seen. Okay. Telling James was harder than I thought. We did it that night, back at my apartment. Ji-hoon sat on one side of the couch. I sat on the other. James sat between us. Sweetie, I started. You know how you asked me about your daddy? James nodded, his big dark eyes curious. Well? I looked at Ji-hoon. He took over. James. I'm your dad. The little boy blinked. You are? I am. I've been looking for you and your mom for a very long time. Why? Ji-hoon glanced at me, then back at our son. Because I didn't know where you were. Your mom had to go away to keep you safe. But now I've found you. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to be your dad. For real. James was quiet for a moment. Processing. Then. Do you like dinosaurs? Ji-hoon smiled. I love dinosaurs. What's your favorite? T-Rex. Good choice. Mine too. James grinned. A big, bright smile. Cool. And just like that, my 3-year-old accepted his father. Children are resilient like that. It's the adults who make things complicated. Ji-hoon stayed for dinner, and for bedtime. He read James a story about a T-Rex who saved the world. Our son fell asleep halfway through, curled up against Ji-hoon's chest. I watched from the doorway. The sight of them together made my heart ache. This is what I'd kept from both of them. Ji-hoon looked up and saw me watching. He carefully laid James down and tucked him in. Then he walked over to me. He's perfect, Ji-hoon whispered. Yeah, he is. He gets that from you. I shook my head. He gets that from both of us. We walked to the living room. Ji-hoon sat down on the couch. I sat next to him. Not too close, but close enough. I'm sorry, I said quietly. For running, for keeping him from you, for everything. He turned to look at me. I'm sorry too, for not telling you the truth, for scaring you, for making you feel like you had to run. We both messed up. Yeah, we did. But we can fix it. Right? He reached out and took my hand. We can try. I looked down at our hands, at the way his fingers fit perfectly between mine. I missed you, I admitted, every single day. I missed you too, he said, more than you know. We sat like that for a while, just holding hands, just being. Finally, Ji-hoon spoke. Come back to Seoul with me, Emma. I can't just. I'll buy you a house, anywhere you want. You and James can have your own space. I won't push. I just want to be close, to be part of his life. What about my job? Quit. I'll take care of everything. I don't want to be taken care of. I want to work. Then I'll help you find a job. Whatever you want. I pulled my hand away. Why are you doing this? Because I love you. He stood up, frustrated. Because I have spent 3 years in hell without you. Because every day I wake up and the first thing I think about is you. Because you are the only woman I have ever loved, and I am not losing you again. I stood up too. You can't just fix this with money and promises. Then what do you want from me? I want time. I need time to trust you again. Fine, take all the time you need, but take it in Seoul where I can see my son. We were both breathing hard, staring at each other. And then he kissed me. Hard. Desperate. I should have pushed him away, but I didn't. I kissed him back. 3 years of longing poured into that kiss. 3 years of missing him, wanting him, loving him. When we finally broke apart, we were both shaking. I'm still mad at you, I whispered. I'm still mad at you too, he whispered back. Good. Good. He rested his forehead against mine. Come home, Emma. Please. And I realized something. Home wasn't a place. It wasn't Seoul or Canada or anywhere else. Home was him. It always had been. Okay, I breathed. Okay, I'll come home. We moved to Seoul 2 months later. Ji-hoon bought us a beautiful house with a yard. Close to his penthouse, but separate. He kept his promise. He didn't push. He came over every day to see James, to have breakfast, to play, to read bedtime stories. And slowly, very slowly, I started to trust him again, started to forgive him, started to fall in love with him all over again. It wasn't easy. We fought. We argued about parenting, about boundaries, about the past. But we also laughed. We played with James. We had family dinners. We became a family. 6 months after we moved to Seoul, Ji-hoon proposed. He did it at the park where we'd first met in Seoul, where everything started. James was there, holding the ring. Mommy, the little boy said, Daddy wants to ask you something. I looked at Ji-hoon. He was on one knee. Emma Clark, 3 years ago, you ran from a wedding you didn't want. I'm not asking you to be someone's possession. I'm not asking you to give up your freedom. I'm asking you to be my partner, my equal, my everything. Will you marry me? I looked at the ring, at James's excited face, at Ji-hoon's hopeful eyes, and I thought about everything we'd been through. The lies, the fear, the separation, but also the love, the second chances, the family we'd built. Yes, I said. Yes, I'll marry you. James cheered. Ji-hoon stood up and kissed me. And for the first time in years, everything felt right. We got married 6 months later. Small ceremony. Just close friends and family. James was the ring bearer. He took his job very seriously. When the officiant asked if anyone objected, James raised his hand. Everyone laughed. What is it, sweetie? I asked. I object, he said seriously. To what? To waiting any longer. I'm hungry. The whole room burst into laughter. Even Ji-hoon couldn't keep a straight face. Fair enough, the officiant said. Let's speed this up. And we did. I do. I do. You may kiss the bride. And he did. Our son cheered. Our friends applauded. And I realized I'd spent so long running from love that I almost missed it completely. Almost missed this man, this family, this life. But I didn't. And I would never run again. 5 years later, we were sitting in that same park. James was 8 now, playing soccer with his little sister. Yes. We'd had another child, a daughter, Min-seo. She had my blonde hair and Ji-hoon's eyes. The perfect combination. Ji-hoon had his arm around me. We watched our children play. Can you believe this is our life? I asked. He kissed my temple. Best decision I ever made. What? Finding you. Keeping you. Loving you. I smiled. Best decision I ever made was kissing a stranger to escape my wedding. He laughed. You didn't know who I was. No, I didn't. And if I had, would you have still kissed me? I thought about it. Probably not. He turned to look at me. And now? Now I would kiss you 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, every single day for the rest of my life. He smiled, that dangerous smile that still made my heart race. Good, because I'm never letting you go. I know. He pulled me closer. I love you, Emma Park. I love you too, Ji-hoon. And I did, with everything I had. The man I'd run from became the man I couldn't live without. The Mafia boss became a father, a husband, my home. And the life I'd feared became the life I'd always wanted. All because one night, I kissed a stranger. Not knowing he was the most feared Korean Mafia boss. Not knowing he would become my everything. Sometimes the best love stories start with a kiss. And sometimes, they start with running away. But they always end with coming home.